All right, hey, what's going on, my friends? This is Turgon the Wise coming at you with a new video tonight. Getting back in the saddle after a short layoff, as this season has been different. In some ways, it's in a good way, in some ways, not a good way, but specifically, I wanted to address a topic that's very near and dear to my heart presently, which is boss etiquette. Boss etiquette. Like, these are bosses. Balrogs, um, dragons. There's some tree guys. I think they're called like Hurons or Hurons. Huorns, I think it's called. And there's another one. There's a deep sea creature thing that comes up out of the water that is an emulation of the monster that was out in front of Moria during the Fellowship of the Ring. And this is a prime example here of what I'm talking about. And in some ways, although I think that this boss is still salvageable, and I went on a huge tirade earlier this evening in my fellowship chat because somebody had like over 700,000 damage on a boss, and it looked similar to this. And there was another guy coming in to take the fourth spot, and then the guy that was first with over 100,000 was sending again, and I couldn't get my army there in time to nab the fifth spot before the boss was killed. This shit absolutely infuriates me, and it happens every week. That's why. If it's something that happened occasionally, like once or twice every now and again, I would brush it off. It's not a big deal. But at this point, this is something that I see happening every weekend, and I complain about it every weekend, and people seemingly just don't care. They don't want to learn. They don't care. They want their gold as fast as they can, and they don't care if it hinders their teammates. And it drives me absolutely insane, especially when you're playing a campaign like Tactics Evolved. You've got these elite skills that you've got to use gold to level on top of all of your other regular skills that you have to level. It's an extremely gold intensive campaign to play. And so every bit of gold you can get matters. And with 5 spots available for a boss, the teams that succeed the most are the ones that share with others. They work together, they've got synergy. You don't see one or two or three people finishing a boss. You see five, occasionally four, but five. So that means that 5 people are getting 75,000 gold. This week is the first week where you now are getting 150,000 gold. We're in week 4 now. We just passed week 4 of the season. So we're on our fourth week now. The first weekend we didn't have Heart of the Hero, so this is the third weekend of Heart of the Hero. For folks who are not familiar with Heart of the Hero, Heart of a Hero is this event where you go and find bosses and hit them, and then once they die, you get a chest full of stuff. And mostly it's like things that will help you reduce the cooldown from your apothecary, which is basically your hospital. When you have injured troops, you spend some food, you send them to the hospital. After a certain amount of time, they rejoin your army and are usable again. There's also March tokens that come in there, and by that I mean these. I'm using all the wrong terminology, and I'm not bothering to look it up. So I apologize for that in advance. Feel free to correct me in the comments. I'll take the hit. Uh, but basically, it's in a similar fashion. These tokens reduce the time that it takes for your march to go somewhere in situations where you can use these tokens. Usually it's for recalling a march, not for sending a march. You can't reduce the time it takes to send a march unless you use the quick march capability, which takes 10 of these things up here called action points. So this example that I'm showing on my screen here is a prime example, and I don't mean any disrespect to whoever this clap taps guy is, but I mean 970,000 damage is very close to a million damage, and as you can see, the bosses have 2.4 million damage, so he is more than cleared a third of the damage on this boss. I hit it a few times just to get myself 163,000 damage. Really, what my recommendation is for everyone is somewhere between 300 and 500,000 damage. Uh, if you're doing 300 to 500,000 damage, this pretty much ensures that you're going to get 5 people on the board. So you can do your 300,000 damage and basically leave it, and someone's going to come along and finish the boss, and you'll still be in the top 5 and get the gold. If somebody knocks you off, then they're a dick, and that's a dick move as well. And I've seen people do that. And it's like you're not helping your fellowship, you're not helping your faction, and you're not helping your united faction by robbing your teammates of gold. And robbing your teammates of gold can be put into two buckets. The one that I just described, where there are 5 people on the board and there's still enough HP on the boss that you can knock somebody off of the top 5, or killing a boss with less than 5 people. When if like let's say the 3 of us here finished this boss, that's 2 people that should have gotten gold that didn't. And that's robbing them. That's robbing someone of gold. If someone is marching towards this boss, like this guy here, and the boss dies and they don't get that gold, you robbed them of gold, you wasted their time, you wasted their stamina, and you pissed them the fuck off. And it's got to stop. Like, it's absolutely got to stop. You're not going to get that. You're going to get the gold eventually anyway. So this like rush to get the gold faster is not benefiting you really in any way. Leveling that one ability in 5 minutes versus 5 hours is not going to have as much of an impact on the game as allowing another one or two of your teammates to collect that gold a few hours later. And when people start getting this through their thick skulls, then teams and factions will be more successful. Like I was saying before, the teams and factions that are successful are the ones that are sharing and making sure that people who need the gold are getting the gold and not just throwing everything they have at a boss to kill it as fast as possible so they could get their gold as soon as they can. See, now this guy is just going in here to kill the boss. This is something that I have a problem with. Like, I take an exception to this. So I'm gonna straight up, I'm gonna report it. I intentionally didn't say the right name. I call him Arturo instead of Artanaro. I hope he's offended by that. Because seriously, like, doing this stuff is just, it's a dick move. It's a low blow. And I think I understand part of the reason. Like, you want to get that gold faster. You come into the heart of the hero and you can see the total boss damage and you want to see your name up at the top of the board. And it doesn't mean a goddamn thing to be on the top of this board. This leaderboard, this ranking here doesn't do anything. You don't get anything from this at the end of the event. There's no pride in doing this at all. You can see I'm number 88 and I don't care. Like, it doesn't matter at all. I've gotten all the gems that I need, so at this point, I'm just trying to get gold. Why am I trying to get gold? It's because I'm trying to level shit. I'm trying to level a lot of shit. And I don't care right now. I know that people that are not my allies on the server will probably watch this video and go, man, and this is really handy information. And you know what? I'm happy to accommodate you with this information. Whatever value you can get out of it, good for you for gleaning it. But seriously though, like I have a ton of units that I need to level. I'm going to unlock something. I'm going to need to level this. I'm going to unlock an elite ability on Swan Knights. I need to level that. I need to finish leveling my cataphracts. I need to finish leveling sharpshooters. I need to get their elite skill unlocked and level that. Um, I need to finish my bow knights. I need to finish ram riders. Like literally, there is almost no amount of gold in this game that I could obtain that I will not use. So that's why I'm putting out this public service announcement because it's like, dude, help your team out, help your brothers out. If you have over 500,000 damage on a boss and that boss isn't going to disappear in the next hour, then you should be stop hitting the boss and you should advertise that the boss, this is how many spots are available. 6 hours, 48 minutes. That's That's how I feel about it. And this is one of the things, like I can handle losing a season more gracefully than I can handle watching this shit happen every fucking week. And for people who have listened and watched my videos, I have never used this level of profanity this often in any of my videos, but this issue absolutely drives me nuts. And it's not just this server, it's not just this season, it's every server, it's every season. It's people just being flat out disrespectful, unthoughtful, and greedy. And to the teams out there where you're making sure that all the people are getting rewards and getting that gold. And I hope that those teams are the teams that are honestly winning seasons because that level of camaraderie and teamwork deserves wins. That's my opinion. That's the end of this video. I hope I didn't offend too many people. And if I did, I'm not sorry because you're probably one of the people that are doing this. And if you are, then maybe with any luck, this will um, change your thoughts and your decision making process and your habits. And ultimately, you know, it'll end up causing some good for some fellowships and some factions and some um, united factions and some servers. But um, just before I go, there are times where it is completely acceptable to go absolutely ham on these bosses, and that's like I said, if the boss is going to disappear in less than an hour, then by all means, kill it. No one else is going to be able to get there in time. Especially if it's the last boss of the event. There is a finite number of bosses that spawn every I think it's 8 or 9 hours. They spawn every 8 or 9 hours. It's a finite number of them. You don't kill one and then another one pops up somewhere else on the map. That doesn't happen. If you think it happens, you're wrong. They're in cycles. Like if you, there are traffic signals that are on timers, and there are traffic signals that, sense when cars approach and change. There's no sensor lights here, folks. It's all timed. There's a finite number of bosses that spawn during each set period. You kill all those bosses, and then you got to wait for the next batch to spawn. And it goes from Friday to Sunday. If it's going in 9-hour intervals, that means you've got about Friday at 8 p.m. to Sunday at 8 p.m. It's 48 hours, 9-hour intervals, 9 divided by 48. You're looking at like literally Five, five. You're looking at like five groups of these bosses that you really have an opportunity, you know, to get to kill these bosses. Because I believe the bosses despawn at 7:30 p.m. my time. I'm an East Coast guy, U.S. East Coast. So that last half hour from 7:30 to 8 p.m. my time, there's no bosses, there's nothing to hit, there's nothing to do. So there's a little bit of a gap there as well. So it's not a pure 48-hour period. So that's what I'm saying, guys. Like, there's a finite number of these bosses. You got to take advantage of them. You got to help your teammates. Get your teammates gold. Everybody needs gold in this game. Everyone. And no one's getting any more gold than anyone else that's on this list. So your 900,000 damage compared to my 163 damage means absolutely fuck all. Doesn't mean anything. You didn't do better. You're not going to get anything more than me. It doesn't mean anything at all, other than your name on this list might be a little higher. And what does that mean? Nothing. You don't get anything from being higher on this list. Other ship, Blackie, Hydra, you don't get anything from being in the top three. You don't, other than just to be able to say, I hit a lot of bosses. I have more troops than people. I have, space and I have more map coverage. I mean, I'm not trying to take away from what these people are doing. And with any luck, I haven't seen other ship Blackie or Hydra. I'm not accusing them of being perpetrators and what I'm complaining about during this video. But I'm just merely trying to create awareness that being on that list doesn't mean a damn thing. So anyway, I hope you know you found this helpful and insightful. If you have any questions, comments, or feedback, please let me know. Enjoy the rest of your evening. Cheers.